Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Michigan sees its deadliest day in the coronavirus crisis. 205 people have died in the last 24 hours. And as this chilling number grows, a terrifying scenario is unfolding inside a downriver nursing home. Good to have you with us today for Local 4 News at 5. More on that story in a moment. Let's start the hour off, though, with the day's big headlines in the fight against COVID-19.
Yeah, first the numbers to date. There are 22,783 confirmed cases of the virus in Michigan. That has caused 1,281 deaths. Also today, the first patients began arriving at the TCF Center Field Hospital for treatment.
But our lead story at this hour, a deadly outbreak that is happening inside a nursing home downriver, happening at the Rivergate Terrace, which is in Riverview, right near the intersection of Pennsylvania and Fort Street. And Sean Lay is standing by there live. Sean, 7 residents of this facility have passed away.
7 confirmed deaths here, according to the company and the people that run the facility. Staff members and family fearing tonight that numbers going to grow if they say something isn't done. So Devin, Kimberly, here's the very latest. State investigators just left. More on what they were doing inside in a moment. Staff members believe that they are in danger working inside. And one family telling me that they say they saw signs of an outbreak. They tried to raise the red flag, but now it's too late tonight for their dear mother.
My mother was the most kind, loving, selfless person you will ever meet. And now we're planning her funeral. And it will be closed casket.
Kathy McGuire fully expected her 87-year-old mother, Sarah, to rehab from a fall at Rivergate Terrace in Riverview and come home. But when her mother got there at the end of February, McGuire says her mom immediately developed what she was told by staff was bronchitis, a cough, and a fever. She asked if coronavirus had gotten into the facility.
Do you have the COVID-19 virus here? She answered me a little curtly and said, if we did, I would tell you.
But insiders tell us the virus is spreading like wildfire here and accuse management of not telling staff, patients, and families nearly enough and believe the facility has been downplaying the outbreak, putting residents and staff in danger. Rivergate's executive director says since March 23rd, 7 residents have died. 21 residents have tested positive. 3 have returned from the hospital and are now isolated. 15 staff members have also tested positive. But insiders telling us they believe the numbers of residents dying is actually much higher, along with the number of people testing positive. We asked the governor about her concerns about Rivergate.
It is on my radar, of course, and it's something that we are investigating right now. When we have hard information to share, we will do that publicly.
Staff members were given this update yesterday that reads, quote, since March, few positive COVID residents and staff. Multiple staff members tell us that is not what they are dealing with on a daily basis. Kathy McGuire feels she was also kept in the dark, and now her mother is gone.
That has devastated my entire family and even our life.
Your heart just breaks for the McGuire family and the other family members who had loved ones here that have passed away from this. Insiders telling us that they noticed right away when they got to work, state investigators with Laura inside investigating in full biohazardous suits. Guys, we checked with Laura. They confirmed that they are here investigating. They won't comment on their investigation. Typically, they are called to a scene like this to make sure infectious disease protocols are being followed. Also, coming up live at 6 o'clock, only on Local 4, a staff member showed up for work. She cares about the people that she cares for inside, but she turned right back around. She quit on the spot. She says it's just too dangerous and heartbreaking. We'll hear from her at 6 o'clock. Back to you.
Boy, and Sean, Rivergate's parent company, I guess, saw what this can do inside one of their nursing homes really early on in the outbreak.
We're talking about a nursing home just outside of Seattle. You'll remember this early on in March. There was an outbreak there. They lost 35 people, so obviously the fear is here that that could happen if something isn't done right away.
Yeah. All right, Sean. Let's move from there to Detroit and now to a big move made today by Mayor Duggan.
Yeah, big indeed. A short time ago, he announced city employees will start getting hazard pay, and it's going to start Monday. We want to get to Mara McDonald. She's live tonight at Eastern Market. Mara, this is huge.
Well, for starters, the mayor says that first responders in this city are going to see an $800 bump in pay. Some hourly workers in this city will see an increase of $5 an hour, Kimberly and Devin. More info to come on that on Monday, but the mayor had a lot more to get to. Let me show you.
A very subdued Mike Duggan delivering the hardest news to hear first.
Today, what we have is a lot of sad news. So we are reporting now that 326 Detroiters have died of COVID-19. We're reporting 54 more cases today than yesterday. And it is a reminder to all of us that this fight is not over.
He says he's heard a lot of pushback on the governor extending the stay-at-home order, but says these numbers are why it must continue, and he's hyper-focused on nursing homes right now.
Denise Fair and her health team have been out there. We started at 2 of the nursing homes with the biggest infection problems, but the rates of infection that we are seeing are really disturbing.
And while he says so many people have been complying with the stay-at-home order, there are some real problems, especially with kids in parks, specifically Riverside Park.
The one area that has been disappointing, even though 99% of the city has been terrific, has been the skate park at Riverside Park in Southwest Detroit. And the police are continuing to have to make runs over and over to people who are ignoring us. And so I have shut down the skate park at Riverside Park. We're shutting down the parking area. I am not going to have police cars having to make the same runs over and over to the same people who refuse to comply.
Back here live, the other issue that the police department is telling the mayor's office about is that police are seeing increased groups of younger kids, say between 10, 12, 13, out running around in packs, out in parks, touching the equipment. They can't do that. They simply can't do that. And the police don't want to be the ones to have to break this up. So the mayor is appealing to parents and grandparents to please explain to these children why this cannot happen. That yes, they may recover if they get this virus, but all they're doing is spreading it further. There is one bright spot here to tell you about, though, from the mayor. He says Police Chief James Craig is recovering, and he's just waiting on a doctor's note to be able to come back to work. We're live in Eastern Market tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Back to you.
Okay, Mara, thank you. Well, 2 weeks ago, it was an empty convention hall, but today, the TCF Center officially became a fully functioning field hospital, with the first patients being brought there to recover from COVID-19. Larry Spruill is live there tonight. And Larry, the effort to get that done really shows the magnitude of what's happening here.
Yeah, exactly, Kimberly. Since the start of our show, I saw about 4 ambulances just drive by this way, entering into the back entrance of the TCF Center. Now, Mayor Duggan says that he was hoping that the beds would not be needed, but today that is not the case.
So you're going to start to see patients being moved from the most crowded hospitals.
Mayor Mike Duggan says the process of filling up the TCF Center is now underway. Our cameras saw the flow of emergency vehicles in and out of the TCF Center on the ground and in the air Friday. It's a harsh reality of what's here. Hundreds of patients with coronavirus are expected to call the conference center in downtown Detroit home.
The TCF Center will start offloading a lot of that stress, with, I believe, 50 today and another 50 tomorrow.
Over the last few weeks, medical crews transformed the conference center into a temporary medical care facility. It's one of the first alternate care facilities in the country. Hundreds of beds now cover the 350,000 square foot convention floor. So far, about 970 beds are spaced across 2 floors for COVID-19 patients. The coronavirus swept across the state of Michigan within weeks, leaving local hospitals without any extra beds or staff members to take care of all the patients. Services inside TCF will include patient support services such as showers and toilets, staff changing areas, a command center, and pharmacy. All of this in preparation for the many patients to come in the next few weeks. And Mayor Duggan did report that there were a lot more cases today than yesterday. He says we still have a long way to go. We're live at the TCF Center in downtown Detroit tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
All right, Larry. Of course, Sunday is Easter, the day that President Trump had once said would be nice if we could get the country at least partially back open and running by then. Today, he reiterated he is eager to get America back to work and does have a target date in mind. Alice Barr in Washington tonight. As experts are warning, though, that throwing the switch too soon could set the stage for another round of outbreaks. Alice?
Devin, with unprecedented public health and economic crises both gripping this country, the Trump administration is trying to balance saving lives and livelihoods. It's Good Friday in a country transformed by the coronavirus. Empty churches mirroring vacant businesses as hospitals are full and lines for food banks stretch around the block. At the White House, President Trump offering a prayer for the nation.
As American families look forward to Easter, we're reminded that our story ends not in despair, but in triumph and renewal.
The desperate need increasing pressure on the Trump administration to get Americans back to work as early as next month.
We hope we're going to be able to fulfill a certain date, but we're not doing anything until we know that this country is going to be healthy.
But it's a life or death balance. Medical experts starkly warning returning too soon could lead to a deadly second wave of cases. That outcome predicted to be even worse for the economy if it forced the country to retreat back to square one.
We have not reached the peak. And so every day we need to continue to do what we did yesterday and the week before.
In New York, where new hospitalizations are down substantially, Governor Andrew Cuomo calling for a dramatic increase in testing to give workers confidence they're safe before they return to the job.
We need both diagnostic testing and antibody testing, and we need millions and millions of them, and we need them in a matter of weeks.
The governor saying only the federal government could manage that, urging President Trump to use the Defense Production Act to force companies to make millions of tests. The president insisting it's not necessary to test everyone.
We're going to do very substantial testing. We're doing more testing right now than any other country in the world.
But the U.S. still lags behind other countries in the percentage of our population being tested, leaving blind spots where the virus could strike next. Top health official Dr. Anthony Fauci says whenever we reopen the country, cases will increase. The question is how we respond. Along with more testing, they're working on a way to quickly trace anyone a sick person had contact with, quarantine and contain. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice. Well, now to the much chillier weather we've seen today across Metro Detroit.
Got the jackets back out here, Ben. Let's look at the Easter weekend forecast, though. Not people really getting out the way that we typically look forward to on Easter.
True, but we are going to have at least a half and half weekend, and we'll explain what that means coming up. Today is an improvement in many respects. We're not seeing the rain and snow. The winds are a lot lighter, but as you mentioned, it is chilly out there. In fact, about 10 degrees cooler than what we would typically see on a Good Friday. So here's how it looks downtown right now. There's some sun trying to peek between those clouds. Current temperatures are in the 40s. Wind chills, though, still in the 30s because of those brisk winds, although still those gusts about 20 miles an hour less than what we saw yesterday. 56 on the high side tomorrow. We will get to the 60s on Easter Sunday, but it's coming with showers, and we'll look to timing on that. It does not look like it's all-day rain. We'll discuss that and a return to the winds. They may be more fierce next week than what we saw yesterday, and more on that in just a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben, there's a pretty off-the-wall idea being floated around aimed at bringing back America's pastime.
New tonight how the Tigers could soon take the field, but it isn't going to happen anywhere near Comerica Park.
And how the state is working to tackle the racial divide as cases of the coronavirus are spiking in African-American communities. Hank.
A drastic measure here at Home Depot, all in an effort to keep people out of the garden center. This after the governor makes it clear what she believes is essential and non-essential. We'll have that story for you coming up in my Help Me Hank report.
From the moment you wake up
to the moment your day ends, local news has never been more important.
That's why Detroit stations came together to bring you the governor's town hall.
Throughout this crisis, Local 4 News and Click on Detroit have kept you informed with constant updates from our own Dr. Frank McGeorge, briefings from our mayor and medical experts, and some good news, too.
We'll keep on giving you what you need so we can all weather this storm together.
Stay with Local 4 News and Click on Detroit for the moments that matter.